and welcome to the SOE Community Webcast for this week. Guess what? Now, this is titled the Super Wikia Webcast. Now, what I find interesting about this is that in 20 minutes, you're going to tell everybody out there everything that they need to know about the SOE official wikis. Is that right?
Well,
yes.
Basically.
It's never going to happen. Anyway, but let's start. I'm Linda Carlson. Some of you know me as Brass the Dwarf when I happen to grow a beard, and I'm the Director of Global Community Relations. And with me today is Jennifer Bridges, and her handle, because she's changed it since the last time you may have seen her, Yavia. Yavier?
Yavier.
Yavier! We're going to have a contest at SOE Live to pronounce it properly, I'm sure. Anyway, Jen is our SOE Wiki manager, which means that she is the one that runs around poking our community managers to make sure that they're actually contributing and encouraging the fans and all of this sort of thing. Also joining us is Colette Murphy. Some of you know her as Dexella, community manager, and I just want to thank Colette for showing up in Terran Republic colors today. Thank you so much. That's awesome.
That was not planned.
And actually, it's not that we had to twist her arm to be on this cast. She donated blood today at the blood bus outside.
I play a healer. I have to.
So what we want to do is we want to talk about our association with Wikia, our official game wikis, how they work, and how you can get involved. So Wikia, some might wonder why we actually got involved with this, and it actually comes from the development of PlanetSide 2 when we wanted to create a strategy guide. Now the problem is, I used to work on strategy guides years ago, and the problem that they all had in common was the instant the MMO releases, the strategy guide is out of date. Immediately. The first time a patch goes through, it's out of date. So we needed something that worked like a living, breathing strategy guide document. And meanwhile, we'd been talking to the folks at Wikia as well and thinking that, it'd be really cool as part of our overall goal of evolving our community environment so that we're members of the community, not just, talking down to the community, but right down there with the rest of the players that we play with every day, part of the process. So that's why we got involved with Wikia. And PlanetSide 2 Wiki, we grew that from scratch because there wasn't one already, but we also are partnering with existing wikis as our official wikis. Now, what designates an official wiki? It's a wiki that we will support. They get a direct line to the community manager on their product. We try to help them with assets, design, information, access to development, and that sort of thing. The one thing we do need to make clear, though, is that we don't actually own these wikis. The very nature of a wiki is that it's public, 100% public. It's not owned by us. We help support it, but it's owned by all of the people who make contributions to it. So it's a public playground, really, a public sandbox where we can share information. So they're player-run, player-owned, and we support them. So what can you tell us about, for instance, we partnered with EQ2I for EverQuest 2. What can you tell us about that arrangement?
EQ2I is a great example. It's a site that was on Wikia that was already in existence, had tens of thousands of pages that were all player created. This is a community that was already present, and we went to them and said, hey, we're working on this partnership. We'd like to work with you guys. Is that something you'd be interested in? So now I can work directly with the admins. I've made contributions on the site. I have a blog on that site. But everything that was created by the community before is still there, and it's still wide open. So it's really a nice way. It's a much more collaborative effort, which is really cool.
Terrific.
So we'd like to show you the EQ2I wiki. And we'd also like to do a shout out to Uberfuzzy and Kodia, who are both the main admins on there, who have been just instrumental with helping us getting this wiki going, and helping them out too. So thank you.
They also both gave us a lot of advice on how to deal with admins on wikis and how to approach them. Just tremendous people to work with.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, so what's the latest wiki that we added to the list?
So we just on Tuesday added Vanguard. We have an official wiki for Vanguard, and that's called Telonica, the Vanguard wiki. It was also player created. There were several thousand pages on that as well. And there was one admin on there who's been, just a trooper trying to get that together for players, so the players had a good resource, of information. And then recently, along with that, we partnered with 2 admins from other Vanguard fan sites who also came in as admins on this wiki. So if we can show that real quick. So this is the Telonica, the Vanguard wiki. It's really nice.
And I see the little official gold Wikia tag in the top left corner. That designates it as an official wiki, right?
Yes, that's correct. So I'd like to give a shout out for Bodacious, Kari, and Aradrin, who are all three the admins on this wiki and have been doing an awesome job adding more pages and getting people involved.
So to those admins, you happened to mention that they had fan sites previously. Is that correct? So how does this affect the fan sites?
So we're still working on trying to highlight those fan sites as well, in having the community managers talk about them, like on the website, on the forums, on social media. So we're still linking out to them, and then when those admins who have information on the Vanguard, on their Vanguard fan sites, they can bring that over to ours and then link
it there.
Link as their resource, so it links back to their.
Very good. So to develop cross traffic between the two sites, so that they still get lots of eyes on their product.
Exactly.
I've noticed in our Skype channel. Let me tell you, the SOE community Skype channels are insane. If you ever get a chance to participate, I have noticed that we have a tremendous number of fan sites in those channels.
Oh, yes.
So we've rolled them in as well as the wiki admins for this crazy free access of information. What's the world coming to? What players, I know that we wanted to get all of our games to have an official wiki. Some we had to create ourselves, like PlanetSide 2 or the Wizardry Online wiki that you spent so much time setting up. But how many do we have going right now?
So the current ones we have are PlanetSide 2, EverQuest 2, Wizardry Online, and Vanguard. Those are our ones that we have official right now.
And we're still working on some?
We're still working on some. We're still working on...
What's the list? This is going to be a long list.
Well, we're still working on officially on Dragon's Prophet and Free Realms, and then we have more to come, but we don't have a lot of information on those yet.
Oh, secrets.
Yes.
Okay, apparently you guys
Jen knows things she doesn't tell us.
So the last thing I want to talk about is, how do players get involved in the wikis? I mean, it seems kind of intimidating, doesn't it? I mean, you see this wall of text and you sort of go, okay, I know a lot about this class. I want to share my information and the experiments I've done with my AAs and EverQuest 2 or whatever it is. But how do people get started?
So the first step in getting involved in the wiki is just going to it. A lot of players simply use it as an informational resource, where if they are having problems with a quest or having problems with a dungeon and they want to know how to get through it, and they don't want to use general chat because everyone knows how bad general chat is, then they go to the wiki and look up that information. Then from there, they can add comments, which they can use as questions. So if they're like, well, I didn't really understand this part, how do I actually do X, Y, and Z? Then they can comment, and then other players or the admins or myself may go in and respond to them on there. From there, if they do want to get involved by adding information, if they notice that a page doesn't have all the info on it or is missing photos or screenshots or whatnot, then they can either sign up and go ahead and just edit that information, or they can even do it anonymously if they don't feel like signing up and making an account.
Anonymously, so you can't hassle them,
so we can't hassle them. Correct.
Okay, and are there any requirements? Like do you have to be a great writer to do this?
No,
or?
you can just go in. We do have the admins and myself do go through and try to edit stuff if there's spelling and grammatical errors, but for the most part we just let the players are free to do, to write that content. If they're not great at writing, it's still good to have that information on there.
Yeah, no kidding.
I noticed, like this weekend, I was actually playing, I rolled a new character and was in a brand new starting city that I'd never been in before, and I started going through, and there were, and I had EQ2I open on this monitor and the game open on this monitor, and there were parts where it would get to the rewards and it just said experience, and I'm like, I just got 6 gold for that. So I just had it open and finish the quest, get my reward, add the reward in, go back to the game. So for once you get more used to playing with it, it can just sort of become second nature to have both open at the same time.
Is it hard to use?
No, it's super easy.
Do we have little tutorials for people like me who are really bad at HTML and stuff?
Well, you don't have to do HTML, so that's cool. It's a WYSIWYG interface with the exclusion of EQ2I, where they do like a BB code type of
Okay.
type of thing, but
Which
there's
we've
instructions
used on forums and things.
Yes,
before. Yes.
there's instructions on the when you go to edit a page. There's instructions at the top on how to use the different codes.
And
But
there's
for the
also
most part,
templates
yeah, there are
that
also templates.
that are built that you can just fill in.
So it's a WYSIWYG interface, so it's super easy. You just enter in your text like you would in Word or something like that.
Something I recall from early on when we started working with EQ2I was a short little chat session that we had. Is that something that we hope to expand on?
Absolutely.
I'm
Yeah.
kind of hoping we will
Yes.
because that was a
Yes.
lot of fun.
Yes, I can say for certain we are working with EQ2I and with the EQ2 dev team to do at least one more chat coming up this spring using
So a
their
chat
chat
with
function.
actual devs.
Actual devs.
Live devs.
Live devs.
Live and uncensored on Wiki.
Yes.
So we hope to do that with all of the game wikis, depending on dev resources and stuff like that. But we want to make it a real community, a place for people to go that they can interact with the devs and with other players. So it's just an extension of everything else that we have going on at SOE.
Right. A lot of people will contribute to the wikis out of the goodness of their hearts and to help their fellow players. But let's get real here. Are there any rewards or achievements or something that you can get if you're an Ultra Wiki contributor? What do you got?
Yes, absolutely. We are working on a program designed to increase participation. So we want to have a game-specific achievements, for Vanguard, for Wizardry Online, for all of those, so that they're special. And then as you get more achievements, we want to add in things like real-life rewards. Like we want to give away swag for that game. And then,
Swag?
yes. And we also want to give away station cash. And we've also been working with the devs to try to come up with things like in-game titles based on those wiki achievements, or
Somebody was
possibly other.
mentioning forum titles as well.
Yes,
that sort of
forum
thing.
titles as well.
Ah.
So we want to make it really cool and really fun for the players.
And you can also get bragging rights. I mean, we have, among the community managers already, we've started sort of trash talking each other like, hey, look, I'm at 200 points on my wiki. Where are you at?
Yeah,
So-
for overachievers like Paulette
Yeah.
there, that makes a lot of sense.
Tiffany was the other one.
Yes.
Me, I'm just sort of going, wow, I'd really love to add to this if only I had the time.
But when you get that very first badge, because I felt that way, because Wiki, like contributing to Wiki was something that I wasn't used to, I didn't really know. And when I got my very first badge, like I'd made one edit, and it was like, congratulations, you've done something. Those things get addicting. It's like any achievement in game. It's like, I want more of those. I want more little badges. I want more buttons.
I heard somebody talking about the fact that we're going to set up forums, or sorry, a wiki section in each of our game forums.
Yes,
Now,
those-
what are those for? To discuss content or ask questions, or are you going to be there answering those questions?
So those are already set up
Okay.
on PlanetSide 2, Wizardry Online, EverQuest 2, and Vanguard. So you can already go to the forums. There's a wiki section somewhere around the bottom for each of those. I will be on there monitoring that every day. So if you have questions on how to use the wiki, or if you want to discuss making templates or anything else, please feel free to use that space to talk about wiki stuff.
And for those of you hoping to get into the Dragon's Prophet beta, we're going to have the wiki section right on the beta forum so that we can start ramping up, because much like Wizardry, we know that the beta players are going to be gathering information. People love to write game guides and information and that sort of thing, and usually it just gets, maybe it gets stickied on the forums, maybe it gets lost on page 45, but in this way we can start compiling the data, and then the very day the NDA releases on Dragon's Prophet, we can populate the wiki so that everybody can get started in the game quickly. All right, so what kind of swag we talking about? Is this stuff that we're going to be mailing out from here?
That is stuff that we would be mailing out.
Okay, so the usual question, does this apply to internationals as well?
It depends on where they live, but we do want to make sure that internationals get some love too.
Okay, so far side of Venus maybe not, but Uzbekistan okay.
We'll give more information at a later date once
Cool.
the stuff is
Okay,
better
you've heard it.
finalized.
Okay, so all you wiki guys over in Uzbekistan, get working on it. I tell you. The other thing I'm going to suggest, because we were just talking about this in a meeting yesterday, at SOE Live we're going to start making little pins, little badges that people can have.
Okay.
And I don't want to steal the thunder for some of the other cool products that we're going to have, but you should ask for wiki pins, so that if you have wiki contributors that come to SOE Live, they can actually get a pin that they stick to their badge.
Yeah, that's
and
great.
You'll have to design it so that it looks cool and is
Okay.
makes them the envy of everybody else at the show. So what else can you tell us about how to get involved? Do you have any images, stuff going on?
We don't have any images on how to get involved. Just at the end of this, we will be providing a list of links so you can know how to get involved that way. If you go to the wikis, you'll go to the front page, and then you can start reading or editing or doing whatever you want from that point. Yeah.
This is pretty exciting. Now, how can people also, can you explain how stubs work? If you're going to a wiki and you go, well, I know a lot about this game, but I don't know where to add stuff. I mean, how do people find stubs or where they need information?
There's a main stub page
for each
of these wikis. They're different. It's in a different location for each of these. But if you go to the search box and you put in stub, you'll be able to find it that way. That's the easiest.
And that way you can get a list of things that need to be filled.
Yes. So if you're looking for stuff to do and pages that need more content, definitely go there. And if you see a page that you think does not have information on it or enough information or is completely out of date, if you go to edit that and then you do bracket, stub, bracket, end bracket, then it will convert that page into a stub. So that's how you.
That sounds perfectly simple. My eyes glazed over. Did yours? Some people are better at this than others.
It's in the help topics for each of the wikis. So there's a help section on each of the wikis. So go there if you want to know more about how to edit. So we can keep the
help thing open, work on the editing on the side.
Yes.
And not too worried about if we make mistakes because you're going to be cleaning up after us.
Yes.
Okay, this is very cool. Do we have any questions from the viewing audience? Other than when's Dragon's Prophet beta going live?
We have one about tables. Can they use that when editing?
It depends on the wiki. EQ2I, I don't know if you can, but the rest of them, there is a table button that you can put in, and then you just fill in the table.
And for some of the ones on EQ2I, they have a template built that has like a table for certain things in game, so it appears to look the same way it would like on a pop-up menu in game. So they've already got it built in for you to just fill in.
A question I have is, are you very open to suggestions?
Yes,
like
absolutely.
Additions, different ways of organizing the pages, so we can really get people involved in this sort of stuff.
Yeah, and that's a good thing to do on the forums.
Yes.
For one thing, if you want some back and forth conversation, see how people feel about it, any of the 4 forum sections.
Yes, you can use the forums, and then if you see a page and you're like for instance, Wizardry Online, we're having some difficulty with the dungeons pages because we have a lot of people going in, putting information about the dungeons, but they're all doing it in a different way. So we're trying to get the community together as well as the administrators to talk about what the best approach is so we all have a unified way to put up information on dungeons. So we're all just in an open talk about how do we do this to best present it to the players.
You're going to have a panel on Wiki at SOE Live this year?
Yes, we are
Is
going
it going to be a how-to panel and all that?
We're going to be doing a how-to. If you want to wait that long, which I suggest you don't wait that long, but if you do, we will definitely hand guide you through how to edit a wiki page, how to edit or how to add images, how to become an admin,
images,
anything like that. Yes.
Not that kind of image.
Yes, not those.
We will find you. So the things I like best about Wikia. It's community-centric, freedom of information, and completely collaborative. Is there any downside to them?
There's a little bit of downside. That means that anyone can come in, and so they might put stuff you don't want on there. So if you see something that's inappropriate, for instance, you can flag that as being inappropriate. Right next to the edit button, there should be a report button on each page. So we do want to have you as players to keep a lookout for that so that you can let us know that we need to go in and...
Especially things like Vanu sovereignty defeating Terran Republic.
No, that can stay.
That can totally stay.
Yeah.
I'll see you guys in my office after the webcast.
Will they be able to use census data?
We are working on a way to import an XML feed because we can do imports of XML feeds, but the problem is we have to figure out how we get that census data in a readable format in that XML. I'm working with Wikia right now to try to get that, and of course, as the games give us that information, we'll be able to pull that in. It's not ready yet. I don't know how soon it's going to be ready, but that is something that we want to do for all of our games.
For those of you who understand how census data works. I'm looking at you, Felden, Death Dealer.
Yeah, if you can help, that'd be awesome.
Anything else, madam?
Can you talk about fan sites contributing to the Wikia?
So fan sites can feel free to contribute to the Wikia. We are trying to work on ways to highlight you so that, you know, because we know that you have your own site somewhere else, so we're working on a variety of ways to try to make sure that we get your name out there too. We don't want to just be like, we only like Wikia, because we don't only like Wikia. We are using them as a great resource for players, but we do understand that there's more information out there and you guys have it. So we'd love it if you came and gave that to us. And if you have suggestions on how you think we can better highlight you to give you credit, the other thing that you could do, of course, is if you add a page in, you can put in that reference is from your site to do a link back.
Right.
And anything else you have ideas, please send that to us, because we do want to do what we can to give you guys credit.
Also, ad revenue is how fan sites used to cover their costs back in the day. Before coming to SOE, I had thebrass.com, and I did a lot of maps and that sort of thing. And definitely one of the things I did was at Frostfell. You know that maze at the very end that's so convoluted?
Yes.
And I got lost for about 5 or 6 hours before I finally said, forget this, I'm going to map this bugger. And what I did was I went to the EQ2I page at the time and I just linked to the map on my site. So that's perfectly
Yes.
legitimate,
Yes,
isn't
that's
it? Because
absolutely fine.
that drives traffic. You're providing useful information that links directly to your fan site so that you can get the traffic if you're still relying on ad revenue and that sort of thing. And by all means, if there are fan sites out there that we're not yet in contact with, let us know, because we want to work with you guys as well, not just in Wikia, but directly too.
And since the community managers are on Wikia, as well as the forums or whatever, you could leave a message on one of our talk pages. Like if you swing by the Wiki site and you're like, hey, this is really cool, I want to get involved, every individual who's registered and makes their page public has an area called talk. And then you can leave a little message there that says like, hey, I want to know more about this. Can you get in contact with me? And it's a great way to reach out and chat with us.
Absolutely.
So have we covered everything?
No, not yet. So I just, because we already talked about the other wikis that we have, I did want to also give a shout out to the folks that are on the Wizardry Online one, who have been doing an amazing job. As you can see, we already have close to 600 pages on that wiki.
That was pretty fast.
So it was really fast, because think about it, we just went live with this game in January.
Now, did this come from a lot of the people in the beta community for Wizardry?
Yes, a lot of people from the beta community helped contribute to this.
Cool.
And after the game went live, we've gotten just lots of people on there who are doing a great job. So in particular, I do want to note Kurthois Blaze, who is one of the original admins on there, helping me when I was getting this started during the beta phase. And then Jay Javits and Fear Sith is our newest admin. They've been doing a phenomenal job getting information on there.
That's cool, because that is not an easy game to learn.
Correct. It's hardcore.
Hardcore.
And then if you could switch it to the Planet Side 2 one.
Dun, dun,
So
dun.
we don't have a lot of admins on this, and we would love it if you are really passionate about Planet Side 2 and you want to get involved. It would be great if you sent me an email. The other thing that you can do is at the bottom, there's a blog post that says how to get involved with Planet Side 2 as far as a contributor or as an admin. You can also check out the forum, the wiki section on the forum, which will also give more information on how to get involved as well.
You can tell that she didn't approve the key art. If you look at the background, it's just NC and Vanu blinking the.
We'll talk about that later.
Sorry, that's where the giggles were coming from.
Just wait till I declare, team uniforms.
Oh,
No.
great.
Oh, yeah. SOE Live, man, it's going to be red and black all the way.
No, absolutely not.
Anyway, anything else to add? We're
That's-
slightly over time.
That's all I had. Just put up the
Links.
links. So
More links.
this is how you can get involved with the different wikis, and we'll definitely keep you up to date with the wikis that we have coming.
So what do we want to say about how it is to use Wikia? Wikia, so easy a dwarf can use it.
Since it's brew day, I think that's
It's
a really good.
Brew day, true. Well, I'm going to go home after work and log in with a brew in my hand and go to EQ2I and look
might
up
be
the
kinda
information
scary.
for brew day. All right. Well, thank you very much for joining us, and it was a pleasure to
Bye.
have you guys here. Thank you,
Thank you.
Colette.
Thank you.
Jen. Now get back to work on those wikis.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye, all.
Bye, guys.
Sony.